Hello, it's Jahara again, and today, or right now, I'm going to do top 10 Mel, J, Evie, and Carlos friendship moments. Yay! Honestly, I love doing the couple ones, but this was probably my favorite one to do. That's why I had it last. You know what they say, save the best for last, which I do sometimes, but sometimes I also do my favorite first. It depends on what mood I'm in and what I feel like doing, I guess. But I felt like doing this last because it's the best. You know, I love the friendship more than the couples, but not by much. And there will be honorable mentions in here. But on the honorable mentions, when I do the top 10, it will be moments between all four of them. The top 10s may be just Mel and Jay, Mel and Evie, Evie and Carlos, Jay and Carlos, like that, you know. Because there are moments I like that's just between two of them rather than all of them. So those will be in the honorable mentions because I do like the moments more where it's all four of them hang out. Because they will forever be friends. They have lived through so much together. Before I start this video, on the other hand, you should watch the the Lost books. There are 4. If you have not read them yet, you should. The first one is before the Descendants movie, which is called Isle Lost. Then the second and third is Return to the Isle Lost and Rise of the Isle Lost. And those are in between the first 2 movies. And then the Escape from the Isle Lost, which is the 4th and final book, which I don't think they're going to make another book, but it's possible they might, is in between the second and third movie. I don't want them to make another movie because 1, they ended it perfectly, and 2, even though there are things I would like to know, like I would like to see how everyone reacts to being toured on Not the Isle, and then I would like to see who Evie and Carlos's dads are and Jay's mom. I would like to see that, which they were actually thinking about doing at one point. I hope they don't now, because 1, they ended the movie perfectly, and 2, it won't be the same if they kill off Carlos or make an excuse for Carlos or replace Carlos. I'm sorry, but it won't be the same without him on there. So with Cameron Boyce dead, they should not make another movie. Plus, they ended it perfectly anyways. Who would want to ruin that ending? You know, I love how they brought down the barrier, and then even though it could cause a lot of drama to see how everyone handles with being out of the aisle. But then I also loved how it ended with the 4 VKs running down to the aisle. So, but anyways, you should read those books if you have not. I love those books. I remember the first one more than any of them. I actually didn't think about rereading them. But yeah. Okay, number 10, looking out toward the aisle during You and Me. I'm pretty sure I already mentioned that during the Carlos and Jay moment, but I didn't really get into it because it was still, like I was saying, I was talking about Carlos and Jay. But it started with Evie and Carlos. They stood there singing, and then they were just looking out to the aisle, and then Mel and Jay joined them. You know, Carlos had her arm around Evie had her arm around Carlos, and then Mel put her head on Jay's shoulder, and the Mel and Jay started singing as they looked through the aisle. And I know it was kind of short scene, but it was kind of sweet, you know, just the 4 of them. 9, Parents' Day / video chat. I decided to add both of them because it's kind of the same thing. You know, the video chat was their Parents' Day. But I just love how they went to Parents' Day together. Not surprised, you know, it's always been the 4 of them. And how they all kind of were protecting each other when Mel got harassed and Evie got harassed. They were all, and then Jay got harassed too, and then they were all just protecting one another, which was really sweet, you know. And then the video chat when they were all chatting with their parents, and they were all just looking at each other all sad, and they all kind of looked broken, which they kind of were. It's just so sad, but it showed you that they're always there for each other no matter what happens. I should have added the Lost books in with these. Too bad. Maybe I will another day. Alright. Number 8, love potion. When they were all making the love potion was that and the video chat scenes are probably two of the saddest scenes in the entire franchise. I mean, Mel and Ben's breakup was really sad too, but that scene just broke my heart. I mean, they were making a love potion, and then Evie said the difference between tears, and she was like, I knew that. And Miles was like, way to go. I think Carlos was like, no, you didn't know that. And they were kind of just joking around with each other. And then Lonnie comes and says stuff that only Oridon people understand, because IO kids would never understand the parents comforting them and being there for them when they need them. You know, they're more used to the parents tormenting them and being really cruel to them, really, and it was just all sad, you know, especially Mel and Jay's faces, especially Jay's, you know. I mean, Mel and Jay are the tough ones; they never look sad or broken, and it's just really sad. But they bounce back pretty fast. They don't let their wounds show too long. Number 7, going to Oridon. When the group was chosen to go to Oridon, none of them liked it, obviously. And then they all got into the limo and started driving, and then Evie tried to do Mel's makeup, and Jay and Carlos were trying all the different types of food, and then they thought that this was a trap, and then the bridge appeared out of nowhere, which was hilarious. They all just started screaming. But, you know, it was just sweet. It showed, I don't know, it wasn't that sweet, but it was funny, definitely. I don't know. Okay. 6, talking after they got back to IL from D2. When they got back from the IL and Mel and Evie were about to go off, but then Carlos was like, no, where you always go off doing your girl talk, and Jay and I are tired of it. Jay was like, I'm not. It's such a Jay thing to say. But they all sat down and began talking, and Mel told them their feelings, you know, and then Carlos was like, if he doesn't like you for you, then it doesn't matter. Then he's not the one for you. And Evie was like, we will never be, we will always be those kids from the aisle. And I tried to forget that, and we'll never be like any of those kids, the other kids from here, and that's okay. And for the first time, they completely accepted that they're not from Oridon, that they'll never be like them, that they are from the aisle, so they do think differently, they do stuff differently, you know? And that's okay. It's as long as they don't go full aisle. Being from the aisle isn't completely bad. It showed them how to be tough. It showed them how to do stuff. And like I said when I was talking about Thompson, Jay, and Lonnie moments, when Jay made Lonnie captain his whole speech, he was like, there's one thing that the aisle has on Oridon, which is the fact that they want you whether you're a boy or a girl, which is true. So there are a couple of good things from being from the aisle, you know. And people from the aisle, they respect Oridon a lot more. They respect having all this stuff and being happy, because they don't get that from the aisle. The Oridon people kind of take it for granted, because it was just given to them. Everything was just given to them. From the aisle, they really had to work for everything, which makes them appreciate a lot of things a lot more. You know, they had to earn their place in Oridon. They had to earn every single thing they own now. Every person in their life, everything. They got because they deserved it. Most people from Oridon, it was just given to them. Like Audrey, she's a perfect example of it. Okay. Number 6, I already did that. Number 5, Jay, Evie, Carlos backing up Mel when they thought Ben fell for Uma. I just really love that. They all kind of backed up her when they thought Ben fell for Uma, and they were all on her side. Not just them either, you know. All of Oridon was on her side over Uma's, and Evie kind of pulled her away from them, and then Jay was like, let's get out of here, and then everyone just started leaving, and they all had her back. They were with her no matter what. They would always be with her, over anyone, I mean, Carlos even said, I can't believe I saved his life, because even though he was Ben's friend and he cared about Ben, he cared about Mel more, and the fact that he thought Ben could hurt Mel like this made him mad, so he was on Mel's side instead of Ben's, which I thought was really sweet. Okay, 4. Singing wrong to the core, ways to be wicked and good to be bad. So singing wrong, I forgot to mention this when I was talking about how they appreciate things more. The first song from Descendants was "Good to Be Bad," which was saying that they're proud to be from Oregon, which they would never have said. They're proud to be from the Isle, which they learned at the end of Descendants. So I kind of like how they tied that together. Anyways, the beginning of each song, the 4 of them had a song just the 4 of them. The first one was "Wrong to the Core," which was really important throughout the movies. They said it once throughout all the movies, and because it's who they are, to the heart, to the core, whatever you want to call it. And then the beginning of Descendants, even though it was technically just a daydream from Mel, it was just still the 4 of them, because she was dreaming of the 4 of them because they're her best friends. And so and then as the third one, the 4 of them went to Oregon to why do I keep saying that? Isle, to announce who would come with them, and they sang "Good to Be Bad." So I think it's just a theory, but I think the reason why they did was because they wanted them. They didn't want them to feel like they have to change who they are once they go to Oregon, like they thought they did. After they finally accepted Oregon and wanting to stay there. I think Mel was the one that really lost herself. I think the other ones did kind of too, because they tried to forget their Isle backstory, and they tried to pretend they were completely Oregon, but they aren't, and they never will be. And I think it was just really sweet that they went to the Isle and saying "Good to be bad," telling all of them that it's good to be who you are. It's good to be from the Isle, and they should be proud of them. They should be proud of themselves and who they are and where they come from. Just because if they get the chance to go to Oregon, they shouldn't have to try to change themselves to fit in. Because another thing that's so great about the Isle that Oregon doesn't have is that they get to be themselves. They don't try to be someone they're not, and they did try that when they first got to, when they in the beginning of Descendants 2, but they realized they didn't have to, because being from the Isle is who they are. And I don't know, I should probably stop now, or I'm gonna rant forever. Okay, number 3, joking around after the proposal. That was such a sweet scene. I almost had it earlier, but there was a couple scenes I liked more, so I added those first. But that was just hilarious. It's like, after the proposal, Jane, Carlos, and Evie were bowing. They're like, "Your Royal Highness, Your Royal Purpleness," and then I was like, "Go away, you annoying peasants." And then Jane was like, "As you wish, my liege." And Carlos was like, "Your Royal Crankiness." And then they all just laughed. I just love that, when true friendships can joke around like that. It was just hilarious. I just love how they added that scene. Be quiet! But it was just so sweet. It was just so funny. She was like, "Go away, you annoying peasants," which is that's not something me and my best friend would do. Like if I became queen and she became queen, and then one of us will just be all bowing, all mocky like, and then the other one will be like, "Go away, annoying peasant." That's something we would do too. Maybe that's another reason why I love that scene so much. Okay, number 2. The last scene. I almost had this one first too, but there was one more scene that beat it just by a smidge. But it was just so sweet. I just love how it ended with the 4 of them, since it's basically about the 4 of them. It's been them from the start, and I just love how it ended with them. And they were talking. Do they miss us? Do we miss them? And they're talking about their parents and stuff. And then it was just really sweet. And then they all put their hands together, and they're like, "We're rotten to the core." And then they decided to race down to the Isle, and it was just really sweet. My mom made a good point, wondering if they would changed the aisle up to make it look more like Oregon, because now that all the aisle kids are here, then it's gonna be pretty crowded. So it would be a lot better if they change up the aisle to make it look like Oregon, or somewhat like Oregon, nice like that, you know, and that way, the aisle kids can still, that way they can, you know, maybe some Oregon aisle people could be in the aisle, some Oregon aisle people could be in Oregon, and the aisle won't be called the aisle anymore after that probably. They'll probably just consider that part of Oregon too. So now they all live in Oregon, whether it's in the former aisle or the new Oregon. But at the same time, I don't think the aisle kids will want to live there, even if they did change it up, because probably leave too many bad memories. I should bring that up to my mom when she gets here, because I just not thought of that. Maybe they're just making more space in Oregon. I don't know. Okay. Honorable mentions. Helping Mal when they thought Ben chose Uma. I already mentioned that, did I? Yeah. I did. Oops. Oh well. Jay and Carlos play fighting. Okay, go. Jay and Carlos play fight a lot, mostly in the first one, but I think they did a little in the second one. No, not as much as the first one. They still joked around, but I don't think they really were fighting. No, like the first one, it showed them fight when they got the limo, and then in the classroom, and they just kept showing that. Go in there, kids. I'm almost done. Okay. He's kind of like my brain. When Jay wanted Carlos to be in Eternity Game 2, and he mentioned how they said the whole thing about they wanted to see about the whole thing, when he mentioned about how team is like a bunch of body parts, and then Jay was like, well, he's kind of like my brain, and then Jay was like, I got your back, and Carlos was like, what about my front? I just thought that was really sweet that Jay wanted Carlos to be on there with him. Stop it, go. Kids. Okay, space between Mel and Evie, which is really sweet. You know, they're saying that no matter what, even if Mel does stay in the aisle, that they'll always be close, they'll always be together forever, they'll always be best friends. Mel and Evie getting ready for Mel's date, which was also really sweet. Mel was like, I never really had a sister, and Evie was like, well, now you do. And then they were all getting ready and happy. Jay talking to Mel after Evie and Carlos left. That was really sweet when the four of them were talking at the end of D2. And Evie and Carlos began leaving, and then Jay came back and told her that if Ben isn't smart enough to love you for you, and you can't stand another day here, then I will take you back to the aisle after myself. I'll take you to the aisle myself, which was really sweet. Even though he would miss Mel, he wanted her to be happy. And Jay protecting Mel during It's Going Down. I definitely love that scene. When Mel and Uma were singing, and then Harry started singing, and Jay just slowly walked up, and then him and Harry kind of glared at one another, and he was all protective of Mel, like a kind of a big brother kind of thing. I just thought that was so sweet, you know. I don't know, they're my favorite friendship. I know most people love Mel and Evie's friendship, but my favorite is actually Mel and Jay. And then I think Mel and Evie and Carlos and Jay is my second favorite friendship. And it's probably Evie is tied for my second favorite friendship, but then Evie and Carlos is probably my third. Okay, that's all for honorable mentions. So number 1 is choosing good. At the end of the first sentence, when they all decided to choose good, Mel was like, told Jay that stealing doesn't make him happy. Victory, winning victory or whatever for the eternity thing, and Victory Pizza. Attorney and Victor Pizza, that's how she put it, makes him happy, and then scratching Dude's belly makes Carlos happy, who would have thought. And then Evie, she doesn't have to play dumb to get a guy because she's so smart, and then she was like, I don't want to take the world with evil, that doesn't make me happy. I want to go to school and be with Ben because Ben makes me really happy. And then she was like, us being friends makes me really happy, which I really love how she threw that out there because they have been friends for a really long time. It showed them become friends in the first book, The Outlaws. Mel and Jay, they didn't say they were friends, even though they kind of were to get close to each other throughout the book. And they kind of made fun of Evie and Carlos because they're kind of the weaker ones. You know, Carlos being all smart, Evie being all princessy. But then they all go on this journey together, and they all face challenges, and they become close. That's when they really become close. But then she was like, I choose good, you guys. And then they waited a moment, and Jay was like, I choose good. And Evie too. And Carlos paused. He was like, we don't have to be worried about our parents being mad because they're going to be really mad. That was funny. And Ben was like, they can't hurt you here. And he was like, okay, then good. And they were all happy and they were all good, and then Ben walked over and hugged him, but this isn't about Ben, this is about the four of them, and they all chose good because you could see for a while that they didn't want to do this, they just didn't think they had a choice, but Ben made them realize that they did have a choice because they didn't want this, you know, they didn't want any of it, but they thought they didn't have a choice. But the moment they went to Oradon, they had a choice. They just didn't realize it. All they wanted was the parents to be proud of them, which I can't blame them for that. But they chose good, and they're happy, and I'm happy that they're happy, and yeah. So that's my number one pick. So please like, and that's all for this video. So please like and subscribe, and comment your favorite friendship moments between the four of them, or just a couple of them. Whatever you like, just comment. I'd love to read and find out. I don't know what I'm gonna do next week. We will see. So until next time, my lovies.